to the Dancers Hideout Bitesize Sundays, a place where you'll find all the tips and tricks to help you and your dancing. We'll be taking some of those big dancing topics and breaking them into some more manageable portions. My name's Ian, I'm a professional teacher and former competitor with over 30 years of dancing experience and teaching. The figure of 8 movement in Latin dancing is a movement which everybody has heard of in some form or another. Don't worry if you haven't, you are in the right place to find out. The figure of 8 movement, simplistically put, is the path that the hips take when creating a simultaneous hip rotation. Do make sure you check out this video here on hip actions if you're not too sure about the different types of hip actions that we can use. This action is seen a lot in Latin American dancing, and so that's the perspective that I'll be using to analyze the figure of 8 movement from. The figure of 8 movement is commonly used in what we can call a Cuban rock, which is a type of figure in Latin dancing. The Cuban rock figure is both a standalone figure on its own, which you might experience at a rumba say, as well as a very common practice exercise that a lot of Latin dancers use. So let's go through the Cuban rock figure first so that we know what we're talking about. The Cuban rock is a simple figure which shifts the weight from one foot to the other. Start with your weight on one foot, my left foot here. With the foot flat and the toe of the free foot to the side. As you push your weight from one foot to the other using the feet and essentially releasing the previous foot and flattening the new standing foot to switch the footwork, you should feel how easily you can move yourself from one foot to the other whilst remaining stationary. Now for the next part. When you shift your weight to a foot, pull the same hip backwards to the foot that you are moving to create the hip rotation movement. Release this position as you shift your weight to the other foot and pull the same hip backwards as the foot that you're moving to on the next step. The trick to help remember this, guys, is that you are using the same hip as the same step that you're about to move. If I'm moving to my right foot, I'm going to pull my right hip backwards. If I move to my left foot, I'm going to pull my left hip backwards. These elements are what are at play when we're creating the figure of 8 movement. But let's make this action a little better, shall we? By making a diagonal move of your hips, as you shift your weight, you'll be able to accentuate the rotational aspect of the hips, which happens when you settle your weight on a foot. It also helps you shift your weight easier a little bit as well. Let me show you in our infographics. As you can see from this bird's eye view of the figure of 8 movement pattern, we make a diagonal shift in a straight line, and then rotate the hip over the foot. We then shift the weight again by sending the hips diagonally to the next foot and rotate the hip over that next foot. You would then repeat this action as many times as you would want to or If you've enjoyed today's video, be sure to give us a like. We're really appreciate it, of course. If you want to see more from the Dancers Hideout, then be sure to hit the subscribe button. Make sure that you ding the bell icon so that you can stay notified for whenever we're putting out new videos or content. You can also drop down in the comments section below anything that you found interesting from today's video, or maybe there's something you want to see in a future video. Let's hear about it, guys. You can also more actively get involved with what we're doing here at the Dancers Hideout by contributing to our funding pages, the links of which I'll drop in the description section. Any and all contributions that are received are greatly appreciated, and we can list you in our credits section at the end of the videos. In the meantime, I've been Ian, this is the Dancers Hideout, and it's been a pleasure.